Thank you for joining us this week on Midlow Connect. I'm Justin Atterbury with Guild Mortgage.
I'm Audra Fowler with Rose Gold Realty Team.
As you can tell, we are in a different setup than what we normally do. And a lot of that is because we are receiving questions about this particular real estate market, yes?
We are, yes.
So a lot of questions around, are we in a housing bubble? Are we going to see another crash? What's going to happen with interest rates? We keep hearing about the Fed's going to cut rates. Is this going to happen? So what we'd like to do is come in every so often and address these questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, we have interviewed a lot of local businesses, and it's been a lot of fun to get to know their stories and how much they love this community. So we thought it'd be a really good idea to also interview a real estate agent who was voted one of the top agents in all of Ellis County, Audra Fowler. So Audra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Birthday month.
It's your birthday month. I love that. So, well, I guess one of the first questions we want to ask is what's happening with real estate right now? And I know that's kind of a loaded question, but just give us a rundown.
Yeah, so what's happening in our markets right now? Well, transitioning out of last year, as everyone knows, we had a spike in interest rates as of last year, and last year kind of slowed things down for a little bit. So we saw, homes sitting on the market for longer than they once were. Let's backtrack for a moment. I think we got spoiled with, super low.
We absolutely did.
Interest rates. But that was truly a one-off situation.
Yeah.
The Feds lowered the interest rate to 2 and 3% right after COVID so they could pump activity into the market. And honestly, in my opinion, I think it became overkill. It created lots of inflation across the board. Yep. There were buyers flooding the market in order to, take part in those low interest rates. So in order to do that, in order to be competitive with their offers, and when I say offers, there were normally anywhere between 50 to 70 offers on a move-in ready home in the Dallas-Fort Worth area during that time frame.
Yeah.
So in order to be competitive with their offers, they were bidding thousands and thousands of dollars over asking price.
Yeah, I remember one that I did was up in, I think it was Little Elm.
Yes.
And it was someone coming in from New Jersey, and I believe the house was listed, and I'm sure this was done strategically. I believe it was listed like $700,000. They went $165,000 over.
Yeah, I believe it.
The list price. I was floored.
I believe it. And that's kind of, it was just craziness like that. And I was even trying to help my sister and her family purchase a home. And even she was getting so frustrated. Yeah. We were, losing out offer after offer. Of course, it was in the Arlington area, and Arlington is a very hot area.
Central hub.
It is, yeah. We've got, the sports teams there. We've got live entertainment there. So, the market was, really heavy in that area. But you had buyers that were bidding thousands and thousands of dollars over asking price in order to compete with the, 50, 60, 70 offers on the house. And that drove prices up. That drove home values up. A lot of things, we're in inflation because of that. We are seeing some slowdown. So, transitioning into last year, the Feds went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Just swung that pendulum to the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we saw, we went from 2 to 3%, all the way up to, we were in 8% interest rate, in October of last year. So we saw a lot of buyers that were scared, and kind of pumped the brakes on, submitting an offer or house hunting for that matter. And rightfully so, because you had home values that are now, escalated due to the, fact that we had buyers flooding the market after COVID. And so with home values up, home prices are up. Now you have interest rates that are up. and you're not making any more at your jobs, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so that supplement is not coming from anywhere else. So, anyway, from that point, we have started to see some normalcy, I would say, in the market since then. I think the market is heading in a really good direction now.
Yeah.
Again, we were spoiled at interest rates of 2 and 3%. We will never see that again.
No.
That was a one-off situation. Like I said, the Feds were trying to pump activity into the market, and it became overkill. And now we're starting to see normal rates. And of course, I feel, due to the research that's out there, and I'm sure you agree with me, but interest rates will continue to go down some. We will never see 2 and 3% rates again.
That ship sailed.
Yeah. But we will see, hopefully some 5% range, 4% range again. But we're already starting to see some really good interest rates. We're around the 6s right now, and there's great programs out right now that, we can even talk about buying down the interest rate to help, make the payments even more affordable. And because homes were sitting on the market for a little bit longer last year, because of the shift up in interest rates, we started to see normalcy in the market as far as home prices are concerned. So when you have homes that are sitting on the market for, a little bit longer than they once were, home prices started to come down some. There was less bidding wars. Now that's not to say we still don't have a shortage, because for the demand that we have, we still have somewhat of a shortage in the housing market. So that's not to say that we're not supposed to be competitive with our offer, but helping you be more strategic in, creating a competitive offer, or submitting a competitive offer. Definitely I'm there to help for that. But you're not having to expose yourself.
Yeah. So for someone who's watching, when you say a shortage in the market, I know what you're saying. Can you break that down to someone who, let's take a first-time buyer, doesn't know anything about the market, just kind of what the media outlets are saying, and we know that they're generally wrong or way behind, but explain shortage.
So shortage, you're looking at a shortage when there's an area that has that's at high demand. Arlington, for instance, very high demand. You have lots of entertainment in that area. Good school districts, a higher population. So when you are looking at move-in ready homes in hot areas like that, sometimes there can be a shortage in inventory, meaning that the demand, the amount of buyers, there's just not enough homes to keep up with the amount of buyers that are, looking to buy in that area.
So basically it's going to go back to like a economics 101, just simple supply and demand. Okay, so we got a very nice history lesson there, which is good, because that is our framework for understanding what's going on right now. What I'm seeing, and this is on the lending side of things, right? So what I'm seeing is what's natural for the spring and the summer is a house gets listed and it's pretty quickly jumping off the market, regardless of where the interest rates are. Right. So what are you seeing, and how are you navigating your clients through that?
So great question. Since interest rates are coming back down, and spring is a hot time. No matter what, you have longer daylight hours. The weather is great. It's just nice house hunting.
Generally, it's Texas, and we get some ugly little storms. But generally speaking, when it's not overcast or raining, it's gorgeous.
Well, how about I say this? It's not the triple degree sweating.
It's not 117 degrees.
You're not out house hunting in the desert.
Fair point.
But and plus, people like to get moved before it gets super hot and all that.
Yeah.
But a lot of families are out during this time. They start their house hunt during this time, and they want to get situated and settled into their new home before the new school year, before their kids start, at a new school, maybe a new school district. So yes, with interest rates coming back down, and now we're seeing some, normalcy with home prices, and it's spring. Yeah, you've got all those factors. So yes, normally where you would see a home last year maybe sit on the market for a month or two, right now I'm starting to see that a lot of my listings are going under contract in about 2 weeks.
It's pretty quick.
It is. It really is. And again, after COVID, homes flying off the market within 24 hours, that is not a normal one.
No, it's not. And again, it's like you said earlier, we had interest rates in the low threes at the onset of COVID, then they dipped below 3, and yeah, that's going to flood the market, because what ends up happening there is you have individuals that need rates that low to afford, being a homeowner.
Yeah.
We have those individuals. And so when the rates get down, or they got down to that point, like I said, it flooded the market.
Yes.
And it was a really difficult, maybe you can speak on this a little bit more, but that was a really difficult time for first time buyers who weren't selling a house and had that equity built up to use the equity as a down payment on another house, or to go over, right? Because they might also be receiving an offer that was over their list price. There just wasn't enough money. Whereas right now, what I'm seeing, again, this on the lending side, I'm seeing in the last probably 12, 13, 14 months, the first time buyers are about equivalent with move up buyers.
Yeah.
And it is a shift.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, is there anything that you would add to that, like to go in deeper?
Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, I was helping my sister and her family purchase a home during that time frame, and it was tough. I mean, it was tough for all of my clients, but to see, my own family, going through that, it was a tough market, even though interest rates were at historical lows. I mean, my first time home buyers, it was so incredibly tough. Like it was the toughest market that I've ever been in for my first time home buyers. I mean, a lot of agents had to step up their game. I mean, pulling all shots, like, really building that rapport with the listing agent, making sure that, every single point of your contract is as competitive as it possibly can be. And no matter what I did, every checkpoint, it didn't matter. Sometimes we would lose out on, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10, 11 offers. You had those cash buyers coming in and swooping in and picking, buying up all those homes and still bidding over asking price. So sellers were finding it easy to go with a cash offer over asking and quick close. And so, it was during that time frame, it was hard for my first time home buyers. In today's market, I can negotiate more in my buyer's favor. Whether it be, credit towards their closing costs, or, maybe going under asking price and saving them some money in that aspect. There's lots of points in a contract that I'm able to negotiate in my buyer's favor in today's market.
So let me ask you a question on that. You're talking about going under the list price, and a list price being what that seller's listing the house at, right? When you're going under the list price, I mean, and I know we got to be general here, but generally, how much under are you talking?
Not much.
Right. And that's why I wanted to ask that question.
Yeah.
Because it's really funny how many times when I'm talking to my clients, again, on the lending side, and they'll say, should I bid under? And I always say, this is really a conversation that you need to have with your real estate
Yeah.
agent. Remember, I'm just handling the finances,
Yeah.
making sure that you get the money needed to buy the house. Your realtor is one who's going to negotiate that, and they're going to know that market,
Yeah.
and how to work that far better than I ever will.
Yeah.
Right. But and this was just a week or two ago, but I had a client that said, yeah, I'm thinking about coming in about $40,000 under. And yeah, exactly. That was my face too. And I'm just like, you really need to speak with your real estate agent about that.
Yeah.
That, and I just was like, listen, if it were me, I wouldn't take that offer.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, quote, that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the market, again, back to the whole economic supply and demand. There is not enough supply to meet the demand that does exist.
Yeah.